Hey guys, in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 4 different ways that you can be using artificial intelligence in Zapier right now for your business. Let's dive into it. In front of me is the first workflow, which is automatically replying to emails that people send you in an instant using artificial intelligence. So how this works is, let's say I have in front of me an inbox. I'm sending an email to, let's just say, my business email, right? And when that inbox receives that email, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to automatically respond to that email that I received, or it's going to create a draft if it doesn't know the exact thing to say. So I just received this email in front of me that says landscaping inquiry. Hello, I'd like to inquire about your landscaping services. Best, Jono. Now that we have received the email, we are going to automatically generate a reply using this workflow, and I'm going to break down how this works. But first, let's see what that response looks like. Okay, I will refresh this window and we can see response here. Hey, Jono, thanks for inquiring about our landscaping services. I just put in ABC company just as an example here. We offer a variety of landscaping options to beautify your outdoor space. To discuss your specific needs and get a quote, please book a call on our appointment page here. So they have a link, right? And this is something you can easily generate. Now, if it didn't know what to say, it would just create a draft instead, and then you could review the draft and send it out once you pre-approve the message. How this workflow works in Zapier is that we're essentially waiting for a new email to come in, right? Once that new email comes in, we're looking for a particular search string. So in Zapier, we have the event new email matching search, and we're looking for the search string landscape inquiry. Now, you can use no search string here and make it as broad as possible and then make an automated response to every single email that comes in. But the more granular you make it, the better the AI will be at understanding exactly what email it is and how to respond best to it. Once we get to the next step here, we just have ChatGPT, which we're using. And in this, we're giving the email that we received, and we're just saying, hey, you know what, ChatGPT, can you please reply to this? And we're giving it a bit of context here. And in the context, we're just saying, you're responding to a client, right? And please don't put in any custom variables such as your name, because obviously we don't want to, send a message back to the client. And instead of signing off as your name, it says literally like the words your name. That's always super embarrassing. Definitely made that mistake once or twice. But here's the information that you do need to know in case they need to book an appointment or give us a call or all of that kind of stuff. And then we have one more step here where we're asking ChatGPT, once again, based on the response that it just generated to that email, are you confident that this response should be sent to the client without us looking at it? And if the answer is yes, then send it. If the answer is no, then don't. So in this context, we're just saying, if you're fully confident, please leave a 1 if we should respond, or a 2 if we should not respond, if it contains markdown or custom variables or all the things we don't want to send. And then we have a branch here where if the response to that question is a 1, which means we should send it, then we send it automatically. So if the reply contains a 1, then we send it automatically. And then if the reply contains a 2, then we do not send it automatically, but we create a draft. So this is perfect for people that want to speed up their workflow and have either messages or emails being sent automatically, or in case you obviously don't want to send things that don't represent you well, you can create a draft and review it quickly instead of you having to create it from scratch. So this is just something that you can do to speed up your workflow. You can do this with emails, you can do this with text messages, you can do this with so many other different mediums that you're communicating with your clients already. The next thing that you can do is you can automatically label emails, right? So for example, let's say an email comes in and you want to label the email correctly. So let's say we have a new lead from Wedding Wire. Wedding Wire is a lead aggregator where we purchase leads from. We want to label this in leads so that it just automatically gets categorized immediately so we can clean up our inbox. One of the easiest ways we can do that is with a similar approach where when a new email comes in, we essentially ask ChatGPT how we should categorize this, right? So we say, label this incoming email. Here's the subject line, here's the body, and then we give it different categories in the assistant. Assistant in ChatGPT is providing additional context for it to understand what it is that we're looking to do. So in this case, I say, here's all of the categories that we're looking for. Please categorize the emails based on what is most suitable. And then it will give us a response. And then we just categorize it in Gmail. But in order to do that effectively, the ID of the label, we have to find the ID of the label, and we have to put it in here, right? So in order for us to match the ID with the actual word, we have to use something called a formatter, which is like a lookup table, where if we categorize this email as lead, right, and ChatGPT comes out with the word leads, we now have to find the actual ID for that particular label here. So if we kind of zoom in here, you can see all of these. They all have user-friendly names, but they also, all of these labels have IDs, right? So we need to find the ID, and this, in this case, this is what the ID is for leads. And how you can go about doing that is you can simply just come in, create another module, module number 4, which is add a label to emails in Gmail. In the actions, you can just choose any of these. And let's just say you scroll down, you say, let's just say personal, right? We have personal here. This is the label. You just type this out until you get to the end, and that's what you have. So label underscore 900, where did it go? 906,018,402275794,957. So obviously that's a bit tedious. We come back in here, go into the actions, create another row here, and put personal. And if it matches personal, then we put the label there, right? So in ChatGPT, you can categorize it as personal. If it decides that, hey, the email that came in is indeed personal, then we would look up what the ID of personal that label is, and then we'd find it, and then we categorize the right label here, right? So we'd put the label here, and then if we test this out, and we come back here, and we refresh this email, we can now see that the label, okay, I totally got that wrong. There actually isn't a label here for whatever reason. Even if I refresh the page, the label doesn't come up, but you can simply see it by going into the label here, going to the same email, and now for whatever reason it's working and it wasn't working before. So that is a second way you can use AI to really reduce the amount of time you have to sift through all of the emails that you have in your inbox and tidy things up and make sure it's super clean. On to the next one, you can automatically generate blog posts, and you can also automatically generate blog images. So how something like this would work is you'd have a very simple sheet, and you would essentially have the blog idea here. You'd have notes on what you want to write about. You'd have this run button, which when you click, it automatically generates this blog post, and it's going to generate the first draft of the blog post, and it's going to also generate the image. So let's go ahead and click run here, and it's going to take about a minute or two for Zapier to process it and then spit it back out, but we will have a first draft and an image available pretty much immediately. All right, and here is the results. So essentially, from this blog idea, how to succeed with SEO, we have 3 bullet points. We clicked run, and then it automatically generated us an entire blog post. How to rock the SEO boat, your guide to striking gold in search engine optimization. I'm not going to read the whole blog post to you, but if you pause and you do read it, it is pretty cool that, you know, AI literally generated that for me in a couple seconds. And of course, you can put in hundreds or thousands of different blog post ideas here and generate all of them. And then the last thing here is the image that we generated using DALL-E 2. And if we take a look at this image here, we can see the cover photo that we just generated using DALL-E 2. So let's take a look at how this works. So we have a spreadsheet here, right? And essentially what's happening is when we update this spreadsheet, and specifically on this column trigger here, I'm gonna just zoom in here because, oh my gosh, this thing is blocking it. But when this column is updated, the run column here, then we're gonna fire this workflow, right? And we wanna make sure that it only fires, so we filter it, so we make sure that only fire if this is true. If it's false, then we don't fire it. The next thing we do is we essentially generate a blog post using GPT or ChatGPT, right? So we write in here, I want to create a 1,000 word blog post about this blog idea, which we pull in as the title, right? And then we're like, hey, you know what? Here's some additional notes that we created here. Please, make this around that. And please make sure not to include any custom templates like name. We want it to be a polished first draft, right? Not with custom templates that we need to fill in. And I want it to be a snappy intro and an outro that summarizes the whole article. Give me some examples if applicable and make the tone fun and engaging. We provide additional information about this blog post, right? This is a business blog helping entrepreneurs reach their full potential. Whatever you want to write here, right? This will help capture the tone of voice that you want your blog posts to have, right? For your readers. And then we generate an image using dalle 2, right? So we say, hey, generate a cover photo based on the blog post idea here. And then we go ahead and update the final draft and the image back into the sheet here. This is a quick way for you to generate literally hundreds or thousands of blog posts to improve your SEO. Keep in mind, obviously, when it comes to AI content, it's a good start, but me personally, while my company's taken off with SEO and I've made huge progress with my search, I can kind of give you an example of what that looks like on my end here. If we just kind of zoom out, I just started SEO not too long ago. We'll do 16 months. This is kind of, what it's looked like. I was going from like 10 clicks on average up to like 900, 1,000 every single day. But I still have human writers go through and edit everything and make sure that it's good and it's optimized for SEO and has good pictures and content and all that kind of stuff. So I think this is a good first draft. I personally wouldn't use it as a final draft. I don't do that, but it's great to save a lot of time. The last thing we can do here, the last example I'm going to give about AI in Zapier is using the chatbot. So this does actually cost money if you want to use this in Zapier, but it's a good thing that you can put on your website to interact with clients automatically. So we'll just call this test chatbot, and I'm going to create something new here and kind of walk you through what this looks like so that you can start using this immediately. Great. So we have an interface here, right? Where, for example, one of the most common things that you are going to want to direct customers to is maybe scheduling an appointment, right? Or contacting you, for example, right? So if I say I want to schedule an appointment here, it's not going to be very specific. Step 1, could you please provide more details about the type of appointment you'd like to schedule? And step 2, it's just BS, right? So obviously you don't want a chatbot that says stuff like this because that's embarrassing and it's going to hurt your brand image, in my opinion. So what we need to do is we need to modify this directive to make sure it provides a good response to your customers and it's leading them to a singular objective, which is likely to either get their contact information or to schedule an appointment, right? So let's just say we want to go down the appointment route. We can update all the information that Zapier gives us here, right? So this is a pretty good start, but let's go off that landscaping example, for example. Let's say that we're just gonna fill in these templates they have. So I'm just gonna choose one of these. You're an exceptional customer service representative. You possess in-depth skills on the topic of landscaping. Your main objective is to set an appointment. And then we'll delete these 2 steps here. To achieve this, you must achieve this. Please follow these guidelines. We want to provide additional information here. What are the most common questions that people are going to ask, and how can we answer those most common questions? So, for example, we can provide additional information. So, how we can go about doing this is we want to systematically give information so ChatGPT can understand, or this AI can understand. And the best way is to follow a similar format: question, answer, break, question, answer, break, question, answer, break. You're just giving the AI something to work with, a model, so it understands how you want it to respond. So for example, how do I schedule an appointment? You could be like, you can schedule an appointment here. And then you could be like http://meets.google.com/ABC company, right? Next question, can I give you a call? Sure, you can call our company at 1-800-000-000. How do I get in contact with you could be another question. And maybe we want to do something similar here, but say you can call us at this number or email us at info@abccompany.com. Okay, perfect. So those are just some examples, and then just providing additional context to your audience. You'll interact with non-technical, you'll interact with clients. We'll delete this. These users are primarily interested in the topic of, interested in landscaping for homes and businesses, let's just say. Your communication style should be, I'm just gonna copy everything they say here. You can switch this up and add in whatever you want, but this is just gonna help the chatbot understand how you want it to comment or reply back to your particular customers. Always structure your responses. This is good. I mean, out of the box, Zapier does a pretty good job of giving the appropriate direction that you want to use. And then other rules. Let's see, if it's beyond the scope of landscaping, do not address these questions. So for example, if it was like, how tall is Mount Everest, it's not going to reply to that. It's going to say, I don't know, or whatever, right? Instead, guide them back to the topics, right? And I also always like to say, please don't ever respond with custom variables such as name. Okay, perfect. So now we can click done, save changes. You can change the static greeting here, but I think this is fine. How can I schedule an appointment? And let's see what it says now. You can schedule an appointment here. This link is gonna go nowhere, but this is the link I put in. So you just put in your calendar link. Awesome. How can I best contact you? And then it'll tell us, here's how you can call us, here's how you can email us, and then, good response. So this is kind of what you can do with the directive. I would put in like frequently asked questions or any material here that is going to help guide this chatbot in understanding your business, right? All of the questions that a customer is probably going to ask you, I would literally write down every single one. It's not going to be perfect the first time. You're going to have to do this over longer periods of time, but you write it down, provide the answers so that when those people eventually ask it, it will pull that answer from the question bank and deliver that to the particular customer. And that's how you're going to get the best results with a chatbot like this. Okay, lastly, you can have logic types. You can collect leads here. This is probably the best. You do need to upgrade for this. And then Zap button and Zap run are pretty much useless. I wouldn't use those at all. And then you can also do suggestions here. These are going to be, the questions that you want to prompt the user to ask. So for example, you want the person who's asking or talking to your chatbot to ask these questions. Can I schedule a call? What is your phone number, right? You can create these logic steps here, and now they can just click this right away and the chatbot will respond with an answer. You can change the styles and all of that kind of stuff. But that is essentially how you can use the chatbot. The only other thing that I would put here is you'd want to use the most advanced model. So I'd probably use 4.0 mini, and creativity is really how random your responses will be. The further down you go, the more predictable, the further up you go, the more random. But random can be a good thing, but usually for chatbots, in my opinion, it's not a good thing because you don't want too many unpredictable answers, right? The more unpredictable the answer is, the more likely it is to not answer the question correctly and deliver a negative experience for your customer. So I'd just be super careful when dealing with creativity. I would balance it at a maximum 5, maybe even slightly below, but that's just me, and you can kind of play around with this to get the results that you want. So that is effectively 4 different ways that you can use AI in Zapier in your business right away Tell me what you guys think down below. If you guys have any other videos that you want me to cover, please feel free to comment in the down below as well. And please give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to this channel for more content just like this. This is part of a larger series where I walk through everything you need to know about Zapier to get started and become an expert. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.